Moving on to more nutrition information, we have Flora. Flora is also an undergrad student who's been with us over this past year. We're so thrilled to have her. And her favorite snack is?
Cashews, lightly salted. So we add the lightly salted.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Eleanor. That's very important. They have to be lightly salted. As Jess and Eleanor mentioned, my name is Flora. I am a research assistant with the Guelph Family Health Study. My research focuses on calcium and vitamin D intake. So let's start with some background information on calcium and vitamin D to warm us up for the rest of the presentation. Calcium and vitamin D are two very important nutrients that are commonly found in dairy products. Both nutrients are known to be crucial players in the healthy development and growth of young children, especially with respect to their bones. Calcium and vitamin D are also recognized to play really important roles in the prevention of lots of chronic diseases, such as cardiometabolic diseases and different types of cancers. But wait, so despite recognizing that calcium and vitamin D are so important for child health and growth, lots of children in Canada actually aren't meeting the national dietary recommendations, more specifically known as the dietary reference intakes, or DRIs. To really illustrate this, the Canadian Community Health Survey carried out a study and found that 23% of children 4 to 8 had inadequate calcium, and 93% of children 4 to 8 did not get enough vitamin D in their diet. So recent studies of dairy consumption trends, one by Statistics Canada in 2015, showed that per capita cow's milk consumption has been declining in the last 55 years, with the largest decline observed between 2009 to 2015, so more recently. For example, whole milk has decreased by 80% between 1960 to 2015. Interestingly, cheese and yogurt consumption has increased, as well as plant-based beverage consumption or other dairy alternative consumption. The objective of my research was to identify the dietary sources of calcium and vitamin D in children in the Guelph Family Health Study. How did we do this? We assessed your children's 24-hour dietary recalls. As previously mentioned by Erin, our research wouldn't be possible without your completion of your child's dietary record. So thank you for that. And this is just a little screenshot. You may remember this when you were filling out the dietary recall. Okay, so what were the results? Let's start with calcium. For calcium, the top source was cow's milk, which includes all types of cow's milk, so whole, reduced fat, flavored cow's milk. And this contributed 38% of the children's calcium intake. As the second top source, we had cheese, all types of cheeses. And the third top source was plant-based beverages or fortified plant-based beverages, contributing 21% of the children's calcium intake. So how about vitamin D? Similar to calcium, the top source of vitamin D was cow's milk. So all types of cow's milk, once again. This time it contributed 63% of children's vitamin D intake. This was followed by plant-based beverages as the second top source. And then tied for third, we had eggs and fish. So some things to consider. The children's average calcium intake was 843 milligrams per day. The recommended levels are 800 milligrams for those under 4 and 1,000 milligrams for those over 4. So it seems we're generally doing okay here for calcium. The children's average vitamin D intake was 4.1 micrograms per day. Now the recommended levels are 15 micrograms per day. This may be a little more concerning here, or seems a little low compared to the recommended levels. And in our research, there was some suggestion that the older kids had a lower vitamin D intake than younger kids, but there does need to be more research to confirm this. So some key take-home messages. Cow's milk, we saw, was the greatest dietary source of calcium and vitamin D. This points at the important role that milk plays in increasing calcium and vitamin D intake. Non-dairy foods, especially fortified plant-based beverages, were also top sources of both key nutrients. So maybe consuming more cow's milk and fortified plant-based beverages together can help make sure your kids get enough calcium and vitamin D. That's everything from me. I look forward to hearing any questions.